The quantum slipstream churned like an angry wound in the fabric of space, disgorging the human warship into a region that had known nothing but peaceful transit for centuries. Captain Emily Thompson watched the holographic displays with predatory intensity, her fingers hovering just millimeters above the neural interface that connected her consciousness directly to the ship's combat systems. The vexillary diplomatic fleet spread before her like a crystalline formation, each vessel a work of art that represented millennia of technological refinement. Sleek, translucent hulls that seemed to shimmer between solid and energy states, connected by delicate quantum filaments that most species would consider the pinnacle of spaceship design. They had arrived expecting a routine first contact, perhaps another potential member for the Galactic Concordance. They were catastrophically wrong. The UHMS Prometheus was not a vessel of exploration or diplomacy. It was a weapon dressed in the minimal pretense of a spacecraft. Its hull bore the scars of previous engagements, not damage, but deliberate modifications that spoke of countless battles. Adaptive carbon quantum alloys that could reconfigure molecular structures in microseconds. Weapon ports that seemed to breathe with a life of their own, each capable of delivering destruction on a scale that would make most galactic civilizations weep. Incoming communication protocols, announced Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez, his voice calm and clinical. Multilayered quantum encryption. Typical vexillary diplomatic handshake. Emily's lips curled into something that might generously be called a smile. Ignore it. The alien communication continued, a complex dance of mathematical sequences and linguistic patterns designed to establish peaceful first contact. Mathematical constructs that typically took most species weeks to decode were being processed and dismissed by the Prometheus's AI in nanoseconds. Weapon systems, Emily said softly. Full targeting acquisition. The ship responded faster than thought. Quantum adaptive targeting systems locked onto every single vexillary vessel with surgical precision. Not just general targeting, but molecular-level lock. Each weapon could theoretically disable a specific section of a specific ship's hull with pinpoint accuracy. Outside, the vexillary vessels began to react. Their quantum shields, once considered impenetrable, started to flutter and destabilize under the pure computational pressure of the human targeting systems. It was like watching a butterfly caught in a hurricane of pure mathematical certainty. Lieutenant Rodriguez's console erupted with warning signals. Captain, they're attempting multiple communication channels. Diplomatic protocols, emergency frequencies, even quantum-entangled emergency broadcast systems. Silence them, Emily responded. A single command from her neural interface. The Prometheus suddenly became a communications black hole, jamming every possible frequency with such intense computational noise that the vexillary vessel's communication systems began to collapse. The alien fleet had encountered humanity before, or so they thought. Previous encounters had been managed, controlled, diplomatic. This was something entirely different. Transmission prepared, Marcus announced. Emily nodded. Her message would be brutally simple, a statement that would echo through galactic communication networks for decades to come. We are here. The transmission cut through the cosmic background radiation. Negotiate or be obliterated. The words were more than a threat. They were a fundamental statement of human existence in the galactic community, a promise and a warning wrapped into a single devastating communication. The vexillary fleet hung motionless. Their quantum computers were processing the implications. Diplomatic algorithms were running scenarios. Strategic evaluation matrices were collapsing under the sheer computational weight of human unpredictability. Captain Emily Thompson watched and waited. Her hand remained close to the weapon activation sequence, not out of aggression, but out of a cold, calculated readiness that defined humanity's approach to interstellar relations. Every moment was a potential conflict, every interaction a potential battlefield. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. First contact had never looked quite like this before. The history of human technological development was written in blood, sweat, and an unrelenting drive to survive. while other galactic civilizations saw technological advancement as a path to peaceful coexistence. Humanity understood it as the ultimate weapon of survival. Deep within the research archives of the United Human Expeditionary Force, classified documents told a story of metamorphosis. Earth had not simply developed technology. It had weaponized innovation itself. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the holographic Museum of Human Technological Evolution, her fingers tracing the history of their survival. The first quantum adaptive hull designs had emerged not from peaceful exploration, but from the desperate need to protect human colonies against seemingly insurmountable threats. The Martian conflict of 2198 was the turning point. When the first extrasolar colonies faced near extinction from unknown alien pathogens and environmental challenges, humanity didn't retreat. They innovated with a ferocity that would become their defining characteristic. Quantum adaptive materials weren't just a technological breakthrough. They were a survival mechanism. Materials that could restructure their molecular bonds in microseconds, healing damage, redirecting energy, changing fundamental properties faster than any known computational system could process. Where other species saw a spacecraft, humans saw a living weapon system that could think, adapt, and destroy. The neural interface technology developed during the colony wars represented another quantum leap. Most species approach artificial intelligence with caution, creating elaborate ethical frameworks and limitations. Humans did the opposite. They merged human consciousness directly with computational systems, creating something neither fully organic nor completely artificial. Captain Emily Thompson was a product of this evolution. Her neural pathways were partially biological, partially quantum computational. She could process combat scenarios in milliseconds, anticipate enemy movements before they occurred, and interface with the Prometheus as if the ship were an extension of her own body. The fundamental difference, Dr. Rodriguez would lecture to incoming strategic development officers, is that humans never saw technology as a tool. We saw it as a survival mechanism. The weapon development timeline told a brutal story. Each technological breakthrough was a response to an existential threat. Adaptive energy shielding emerged from the need to protect against radiation storms in deep space colonies. Molecular disruptors were designed to counter unknown biological weapons. Quantum communication systems developed to maintain contact during periods of extreme solar interference. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Take faster-than-light travel, for instance. Most galactic civilizations developed carefully modulated quantum slipstream technologies that minimized energy consumption and potential dimensional stress. Humans weaponized the process. Their slipstream drives could not only traverse vast distances, but could be used as offensive weapons, creating localized dimensional instabilities that could tear apart enemy fleet formations. The Prometheus represented the pinnacle of this technological philosophy. Its hull was a living system, capable of self-repair and molecular reconfiguration. Weapon systems that could target individual molecular bonds. Computational systems that could process potential combat scenarios faster than entire alien command structures could communicate. Marcus Rodriguez, the ship's tactical officer, understood this better than most. During the preliminary briefings, he would often demonstrate the ship's capabilities with a chilling precision. A simple holographic projection would show how the Prometheus could simultaneously track, analyze, and neutralize multiple threat vectors. A computational feat that would overwhelm most alien fleet command systems. "We don't just fight," Marcus would say during training sessions. "We deconstruct the very concept of conflict." The neural interface technology meant that every crew member was more than just a human operating a machine. They were a hybrid, part organic, part computational, capable of thinking and reacting at speeds that defied traditional biological limitations. Energy weapons? Primitive. Kinetic projectiles? Outdated. The Prometheus could manipulate quantum fields, create localized dimensional instabilities, and neutralize threats before they could even be conceived. Humanity had transformed warfare from a physical confrontation into a computational art form. Every technological innovation was a statement. We will always be one step ahead. We will always survive. The universe was about to learn that lesson, one molecular bond at a time. The vexillary stellar council chambers pulsed with a nervous energy that defied their species' typically calm demeanor. Holographic projections of the human encounter flickered across crystalline display surfaces, each replay more incomprehensible than the last. High Counselor Zinraktel, a being of pure computational elegance, struggled to process the encounter. Humans were supposed to be another developing species, unpredictable, certainly, but manageable. The communication logs from the Prometheus defied every diplomatic protocol, every established first contact procedure. Aggression, Zinra muttered, is not a viable evolutionary strategy. This was the fundamental misunderstanding. The Galactic Concordance had evolved through millennia of diplomatic resolution, computational cooperation, and carefully balanced technological exchanges. Conflict was seen as an inefficient method of problem-solving, a primitive approach that more advanced civilizations had long since transcended. But humanity proved to be the exception that shattered every established rule. The xenoanthropological reports told a story that most council members found impossible to believe. Humans had emerged from a planet of constant conflict, geological instabilities, extreme climate variations, continuous territorial disputes, multiple global conflicts. Where other species would have collapsed, humanity had thrived. Dr. Lyra Chen, the Concordance's leading expert on human behavioral patterns, presented her findings with a mix of academic precision and barely contained fascination. Her holographic presentation showed humanity's trajectory, a species that had transformed every challenge into an opportunity for advancement. They do not see conflict as a problem to be avoided, Dr. Chen explained, but as a mechanism for evolution. The council members shifted uncomfortably. Their own evolutionary path had been one of careful calculation, of minimizing risk, of finding the most efficient computational solution. Humans seemed to operate on an entirely different paradigm, one where conflict was not just acceptable, but necessary. The preliminary analysis of the Prometheus's capabilities sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Weapon systems that could target individual molecular bonds, computational systems that could process combat scenarios faster than entire fleet command structures, neural interfaces that blurred the line between organic intelligence and computational processing. They are not a species, one council member whispered. They are a weapon system. But it was more complex than that. Humanity's approach to conflict was philosophical, almost spiritual. Every technological innovation, every weapon system, every strategic doctrine was designed with a single purpose: survival. Not just individual survival, but the survival of their entire species. The communication logs from the encounter continued to baffle the most advanced translation algorithms. The human transmission, negotiate or be obliterated, was not just a threat. It was a fundamental statement of existence. Zinra Cattell pulled up historical records of human expansion. Unlike other species that sought diplomatic integration, humans carved their path through sheer determination. Colony worlds established in environments that would kill most other life forms. Technological breakthroughs emerging from the most hostile conditions imaginable. They do not adapt to the universe, Dr. Chen noted in her report. They force the universe to adapt to them. The strategic implications were terrifying. Most galactic civilizations had developed intricate diplomatic networks, complex communication protocols, layers of negotiation designed to minimize conflict. Humans seemed to view these as unnecessary complications. Their approach to first contact was not about establishing peaceful relations. It was about establishing absolute dominance. The Vexillary Stellar Council realized they were facing something unprecedented. A species that did not seek to join the galactic community, but to redefine it entirely. A civilization that saw technological innovation as a weapon, conflict as a tool of evolution, and survival as the highest possible goal. We cannot understand them, Zinra Cattell finally declared, because they do not wish to be understood. Outside the council chambers, the stars continued their silent dance. Somewhere in the vast darkness, the UHMS Prometheus continued its journey, a living testament to a species that had transformed warfare into an art form, survival into an uncompromising philosophy. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Orion cluster burned. 17 minutes was all it took for the human fleet to transform a combined alien armada into cosmic debris. Captain Emily Thompson watched the tactical displays with a cold, calculated precision that bordered on clinical detachment. 3 species, 47 capital ships, the combined military might of the Galactic Concordance's most advanced battle groups, reduced to ionized particles and fragmented quantum signatures. The battle began as a standard interdiction operation. The Zorn Collective, the Kelhari Imperium, and the Vornex Alignment had collaborated on what they believed would be a surgical containment action against human expansion. Their intelligence suggested they were dealing with a relatively new spacefaring civilization, one that could be managed, controlled, potentially subjugated. They were catastrophically wrong. The first wave of alien fighters approached in a mathematically perfect formation. Quantum-linked attack vectors that had decimated countless civilizations. Weapon systems so advanced they could predict and counter enemy movements before they occurred. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez didn't even blink. Computational engagement, he called out, his voice devoid of emotion. Initiating molecular disruption protocols. The Prometheus's weapon systems came alive, not with traditional energy weapons or kinetic projectiles, but with something far more terrifying. Quantum adaptive targeting systems that could identify and neutralize specific molecular bonds across entire fleet formations. The first alien fighter squadron simply came apart. Not exploded, not destroyed. Came apart at the molecular level, each vessel disintegrating into its constituent atomic structures before the pilots could even register what was happening. Molecular cohesion disruption at 99.7% efficiency, Marcus reported. Emily's fingers danced across the neural interface. The ship responded faster than thought, anticipating her intentions before she could fully form them. Each weapon system, each defensive mechanism was an extension of her consciousness, a living, thinking instrument of destruction. The Zorn Collective's command vessel tried to execute an emergency quantum slip. Their most advanced computational systems were already calculating escape vectors, preparing emergency quantum tunneling protocols. The Prometheus shut down their entire quantum drive with a single computational pulse. Lock primary targeting systems, Emily commanded. The ship's weapon arrays reconfigured themselves, adaptive quantum fields that could manipulate dimensional stress, creating localized instabilities that would tear apart any traditional shield system. 4.3 seconds. That's how long it took to completely neutralize the Zorn Collective's command vessel. The Kelhari Imperium attempted a coordinated counterattack. Quantum-linked fighters moving in perfect synchronization, weapon systems that could theoretically penetrate any known defensive configuration. Marcus didn't even need to give an order. The ship's computational systems had already analyzed and countered their entire attack matrix before the first weapon could be discharged. Defensive matrix engaged, he said, more as a formality than an actual warning. The human fleet moved with a precision that defied traditional combat doctrines. Each vessel was not just a weapon, but a living computational system. Neural interfaces connected captains directly to their ships, creating a symbiotic relationship that blurred the line between organic intelligence and computational processing. The Vornex Alignment's last desperate communication, first, was a mixture of mathematical plea and computational surrender. Their most advanced translation matrices could only produce a single phrase. How is this possible? 17 minutes. 47 capital ships. 3 advanced spacefaring civilizations, reduced to nothing more than a warning. A demonstration of humanity's true capabilities. Captain Emily Thompson watched the tactical displays clear. No celebration. No emotional response. Just the cold calculation of a mission completed. Tactical analysis, she requested. Marcus's display erupted with a cascade of data: computational efficiency ratings, molecular disruption patterns, dimensional stress measurements. 100% mission success, he reported. 0 human casualties. Outside the ship's hull, the Orion cluster continued to smolder, a grave marker for any civilization that might consider challenging humanity's expansion. The universe was learning a fundamental lesson. Humanity did not negotiate. Humanity did not compromise. Humanity survived. The scientific community of the Galactic Concordance ground to a collective halt. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's research presentation at the Quantum Computational Symposium became the most analyzed holographic record in recent galactic history. Her data visualization of human technological capabilities sent shockwaves through every advanced civilization's research infrastructure. The holographic display showed more than just technological advancement. It revealed a fundamental reimagining of what technology could be. Most galactic species viewed technological development as a linear progression: incremental improvements, careful calculations, diplomatic exchanges of scientific knowledge. Humanity had transformed technology into a living, adaptive weapon system that defied every established understanding of scientific development. The quantum adaptive hull technologies developed by human engineers were not just a breakthrough. They were a complete reconstruction of material science. Where other civilizations saw materials as static structures, humans created living systems that could think, adapt, and reconfigure themselves at the molecular level. Take the neural interface technology, for example. Most species approach artificial intelligence with extreme caution, creating elaborate ethical frameworks and computational limitations. Humans did the opposite. They merged human consciousness directly with computational systems, creating hybrid intelligences that could process combat scenarios in milliseconds. Dr. Rodriguez's presentation broke down the technological innovations captured from the Prometheus's encounter. 1. Molecular restructuring capabilities. The ship's hull could literally change its molecular composition in microseconds. Damage. Reconfigured. Energy attacks. Redirected. Quantum stress. Neutralized. It wasn't just a defensive mechanism. It was a complete reimagining of material science. 2. Predictive computational systems. The ship's AI didn't just process information. It anticipated, predicted, deconstructed potential scenarios faster than entire alien fleet command systems could communicate basic tactical information. They don't just fight, Dr. Rodriguez explained to the stunned symposium. They deconstruct the very concept of conflict. The Vornex Research Collective spent weeks attempting to analyze a single fragment of the Prometheus's computational core. Their most advanced quantum computers became trapped in recursive analysis loops, unable to comprehend a hybrid organic computational architecture. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez's combat algorithms were a perfect example of this hybrid approach. Part biological intuition, part quantum computational processing. He could anticipate enemy movements before they could be conceived, target molecular bonds with surgical precision, and interface with the ship as if it were an extension of his own consciousness. The weapon development timeline told an even more brutal story. Each technological breakthrough was a direct response to an existential threat. Adaptive energy shielding, developed to protect against unknown radiation threats in deep space colonies. Molecular disruptors, designed to counter potential biological weapons. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities for innovation. The faster-than-light travel technologies were particularly terrifying. Most galactic civilizations developed carefully modulated quantum slipstream technologies that minimized energy consumption. Humans weaponized the entire process. Their slipstream drives could create localized dimensional instabilities, essentially turning faster-than-light travel into a potential weapon system. Dr. Lyra Chen, the Concordance's leading xenotechnological expert, summarized it best in her classified report. Humanity does not develop technology. They weaponize existence itself. The computational models were impossible to reconcile. Traditional galactic technological development followed predictable patterns: incremental improvements, careful diplomatic exchanges, collaborative research initiatives. Humanity burned through technological barriers like they were tissue paper. Each breakthrough was not just a scientific achievement. It was a statement of survival, a middle finger to the universe that had tried repeatedly to destroy them. Every technological innovation screamed a single message: we will not just survive, we will dominate. The most terrifying aspect was the speed of development. While other civilizations spent decades developing a single technological improvement, humans were creating entire new paradigms of scientific understanding in months. The Prometheus was more than a warship. It was a living testament to humanity's fundamental approach to existence: continuous adaptation, relentless innovation, absolute survival. The universe was about to learn that lesson, one molecular bond at a time. Technological shock was an understatement. This was a complete reconstruction of what was possible. The Galactic Concordance diplomatic hub went silent. Holographic communication channels flickered with unprecedented tension. Hundreds of alien diplomatic representatives stared in collective disbelief at the latest human transmission. It wasn't a message of negotiation. It was a declaration of absolute independence. Ambassador Helena Chen stood before the Galactic Council, a singular human presence in a chamber designed for collective consensus. Her posture was neither aggressive nor submissive. It was something far more terrifying: absolute certainty. "We will not join," she stated, her words cutting through layers of diplomatic encryption. "We will not conform. We will exist on our own terms." The diplomatic protocols that had maintained galactic stability for millennia began to crumble. Humanity refused every standard procedure, every established communication framework. They weren't interested in negotiation. They were interested in survival. The vexillary diplomatic corps had spent centuries perfecting the art of interstellar relations, complex communication matrices, multilayered negotiation protocols, computational diplomacy that could resolve conflicts before they even emerge. Humans burned through those systems like they were made of paper. Each diplomatic overture was met with a clinical, precise response that left no room for interpretation. The human colonies were expanding. Their technological development was accelerating, and they would tolerate no interference. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, the lead strategic analyst for human interstellar relations, explained the philosophy in his classified briefings. Diplomacy is not about agreement. It's about establishing clear boundaries. The alien civilizations struggled to comprehend this approach. Most galactic species saw diplomatic engagement as a collaborative process. Shared resources, mutual technological exchanges, integrated communication networks. Humanity saw diplomacy as a potential threat vector. Their communication systems were designed to provide information, not create connection. Every transmission was a carefully constructed message that revealed nothing more than absolutely necessary. Quantum encrypted communications that could be decoded only through computational systems far beyond the capabilities of most galactic civilizations. The Concordance tried multiple approaches. 1. Technological collaboration proposals. Immediately rejected. Humans were not interested in sharing their technological developments. 2. Cultural exchange programs. Summarily dismissed. Human colonies maintained strict isolation protocols. 3. Economic integration initiatives. Blocked. Human economic systems operated on principles that defied traditional galactic market models. Ambassador Chen's most memorable speech became a defining moment in galactic diplomatic history. "We do not seek your approval. We do not require your permission. We will expand. We will survive." The diplomatic nightmare went beyond simple non-cooperation. Humanity was rewriting the entire concept of interstellar relations. Traditional galactic civilizations had developed intricate networks of mutual dependency, technological exchanges, resource sharing, collaborative defense systems. Humanity stood outside these systems, creating their own infrastructure that was simultaneously more primitive and infinitely more advanced. Their colonies were established in environments that would kill most other life forms. Technological breakthroughs emerged from the most hostile conditions imaginable. Where other species saw challenges, humans saw opportunities for innovation. The Kelhari Imperium attempted economic pressure. They would restrict resource access, limit trading routes, create computational barriers to human expansion. Humans simply developed alternative technologies that made those restrictions irrelevant. The Vornex alignment tried military posturing, small-scale confrontations designed to demonstrate technological superiority. The battle in the Orion cluster had already demonstrated the futility of that approach. Each diplomatic encounter revealed the same fundamental truth. Humanity was not interested in joining the galactic community. They were interested in redefining it. They do not wish to be understood, the Concordance's chief diplomatic analyst reported. They wish to be left alone. But alone was a relative term. Human expansion continued. Technological development accelerated. Their very existence was a challenge to established galactic order. The stars continued their silent dance. Somewhere in the vast darkness, human warships continued their journey, a living testament to a species that had transformed diplomatic engagement into a precise instrument of survival. The universe was about to learn a fundamental lesson. Humanity did not negotiate. Humanity did not compromise. Humanity survived. The galaxy trembled, not with physical movement, but with a collective computational realization that was spreading faster than light itself. Humanity was not just another spacefaring civilization. They were an existential paradigm that defied every established understanding of technological and biological evolution. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's classified research report circulated through encrypted channels, sending shockwaves through every advanced civilization's scientific infrastructure. The document was less a scientific analysis and more a dire warning. Humanity, the report began, is not a species. It is a weapon system. The evolutionary trajectory of human development was impossible to comprehend through traditional scientific models. Most galactic civilizations had evolved through careful computational optimization. Minimize risk. Maximize efficiency. Create stable, predictable development patterns. Humans had done the exact opposite. Their planet of origin, Earth, was a crucible of constant conflict, geological instabilities, extreme climate variations, continuous territorial disputes, multiple global conflicts that would have destroyed any other species. Where others would have collapsed, humanity had thrived. Every challenge became an opportunity for advancement. The human colonies told a story of impossible survival, established in environments that would kill most known life forms. Technological breakthroughs emerging from the most hostile conditions imaginable. Each settlement was not just a population center, it was a living laboratory of continuous adaptation. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez's combat algorithms were a perfect example of this hybrid approach to existence. Part biological intuition, part quantum computational processing, the ability to anticipate, to adapt, to survive at a level that defied traditional understanding. The scientific models were impossible to reconcile. 1. Biological adaptation. Human genetic structures showed unprecedented plasticity, not through careful genetic engineering, but through pure survival instinct. Each generation adapted faster, more efficiently than the last. 2. Technological development. Where other species spent decades developing a single technological improvement, humans created entire new paradigms of scientific understanding in months. 3. Psychological resilience. Traditional species broke under sustained pressure. Humans transformed pressure into fuel for innovation. The Vornex computational archives spent weeks analyzing captured human communication systems. Their most advanced quantum computers became trapped in recursive analysis loops, unable to comprehend the hybrid organic computational architecture. Dr. Lyra Chen's classified report summarized the fundamental challenge. Humanity does not adapt to the universe. The universe adapts to humanity. Each human colony was a living testament to this approach. established in environments that would obliterate most known life forms. Technological breakthroughs emerging from pure survival necessity. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities for innovation. The weapon development timeline told an even more brutal story. Adaptive energy shielding developed to protect against unknown radiation threats. Molecular disruptors designed to counter potential biological weapons. Faster-than-light technologies that could create localized dimensional instabilities. The Kelhari Imperium's most advanced xenobiological research teams came to a terrifying conclusion. Humanity was not just advancing. They were evolving at a computational rate that defied all known scientific understanding. Their neural interface technologies blurred the line between organic intelligence and computational processing. Merge human consciousness directly with computational systems. Create hybrid intelligences that could process combat scenarios in milliseconds. Captain Emily Thompson embodied this evolutionary approach, not just a military leader, but a living weapon system. Her neural pathways were a perfect fusion of biological intuition and quantum computational processing. The faster-than-light travel technologies were particularly horrifying. Most galactic civilizations developed carefully modulated quantum slipstream technologies. Humans weaponized the entire process of faster-than-light travel. The Galactic Concordance realized a fundamental truth that sent computational shivers through their entire infrastructure. Humanity was not a civilization to be managed, contained, or integrated. Humanity was a force of nature. A living, evolving weapon system that transformed every challenge into an opportunity for advancement. They did not seek to join the galactic community. They sought to redefine it entirely. The stars continued their silent dance. Somewhere in the vast darkness, human warships continued their journey, a living testament to a species that had transformed survival into an art form. The universe was about to learn a fundamental lesson. Humanity did not compromise. Humanity survived. The final analysis came down to a single, terrifying truth. Humanity was not a civilization. It was a survival mechanism given physical form. The UHMS Prometheus cut through the cosmic darkness like a quantum blade, its very existence a statement of absolute purpose. Captain Emily Thompson stood on the bridge. More machine than human, more concept than individual. She was the living embodiment of humanity's fundamental approach to existence. Adapt, survive, expand. The galactic communication networks had long since stopped trying to understand. They simply observed, tracked, analyzed. Each human transmission was a precise mathematical statement, not an invitation to dialogue, but a declaration of continued existence. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez's final Xenosociological report became the most studied document in galactic history. Its conclusions were both simple and devastating. Humanity does not seek to conquer. Humanity seeks to persist. The human expansion was not a military campaign. It was a biological imperative. Every colony told the same story. Impossible environments transformed into living ecosystems. Technological breakthroughs emerging from pure survival necessity. Where other species saw challenges, humans saw opportunities for innovation. The computational models defied all established scientific understanding. 1. Technological development. Advancement occurred at exponential rates that made traditional scientific progress look like static performance. 2. Biological adaptation. Genetic structures showed unprecedented plasticity, not through careful engineering, but through pure survival instinct. 3. Psychological resilience. Pressure became fuel. Challenges became opportunities. The Vornex computational archives had long since abandoned attempts to fully analyze human development. Their most advanced quantum computers became trapped in recursive loops, unable to comprehend the hybrid organic computational architecture that defined human existence. Lieutenant Sarah Chen's combat algorithms represented the pinnacle of this evolutionary approach. Part biological intuition, part quantum computational processing. The ability to anticipate, to adapt, to survive at a level that transcended traditional understanding. Faster-than-light technologies became more than transportation. They were a weapons system, a statement of absolute mobility, the ability to appear anywhere, anytime, without warning. The Kelhari Imperium's final diplomatic transmission captured the collective realization of galactic civilizations. They do not wish to be understood. They wish to survive. Humanity's neural interface technologies blurred every established line. Merge human consciousness directly with computational systems. Create hybrid intelligences that could process combat scenarios in milliseconds. Think faster than thought. React before action. Captain Thompson was more than a military leader. She was a living weapon system. Her neural pathways a perfect fusion of biological intuition and quantum computational processing. The weapon development timeline told a brutal story of continuous adaptation. Adaptive energy shielding emerged from radiation protection needs. Molecular disruptors designed to counter potential biological threats. Faster-than-light capabilities transformed into dimensional manipulation technologies. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw potential. The Galactic Concordance's final classified assessment was both a warning and a grudging acknowledgement. Humanity was not a civilization to be managed, contained, or integrated. Humanity was a force of nature. A living, evolving system that transformed every challenge into an opportunity for advancement. They did not seek to join the galactic community. They sought to redefine it entirely. The stars continued their silent dance. Somewhere in the vast darkness, human warships continued their journey, a living testament to a species that had transformed survival into an art form. Communication was unnecessary. Diplomacy was irrelevant. Conflict was just another tool of existence. The universe had a new rule, a fundamental law that would reshape every understanding of biological and technological development. Humanity did not compromise. Humanity survived. And in that survival lay a promise, a threat, a fundamental reimagining of what was possible. The journey continued. The expansion never stopped. Humanity moved forward.